Number 18 from this video says arctan, which is inverse tan of negative root 3. Okay? Now we talked about how tangent is sine over cosine. So there's really only two that it takes some thinking to figure out, which are these two. When you have square root of 3 over 2 over 1/2, that's square root of 3. And when you have 1/2 over square root of 3, which is square root of 3 over 3. So square root of 3 does happen on the unit circle. So this is a unit circle value. Tangent, we look in what two quadrants? First and fourth, okay? So this is negative, so we're going to look in the fourth. Positive, we always look in the first quadrant. Negative is when we really need to think about which other quadrant we use. So tangent, we just said square root of 3. That goes with having a 1/2 first and a square root of 3 second, square root of 3 over 2 second. So that's this point right here that would give me a negative square root of 3, and that's 5 pi over 3, but since the domain for these things is negative pi over 2 to positive pi over 2, that's thinking of the fourth quadrant in terms of basically a negative of the first quadrant. In other words, we're treating the fourth quadrant as if it's actually, I'm rotating the other way. So in that respect, we don't call 11 pi over 6, we call it negative pi over 6. It's a reflection of this point, which is pi over 6. We don't call 7 pi over 4, we call it negative pi over 4. We don't call 5 pi over 3, we call it negative pi over 3. So it's negative pi over 3. Yes, sir?
Number 10.
Number 10. Number 10 says inverse secant of 2 over square root of 3. So secant goes with what? Cosine. So this is saying the exact same thing as if you asked, what's the inverse cosine of square root of 3 over 2? And that's a positive number, so I'm going to look in the first quadrant, and cosine is square root of 3 over 2 at pi over 6. Okay?